Well, the festive season is meant to be the busiest time of the year for business across the country, but due to the uncertainty of the Omicron variant, many are feeling the pinch. Joining me now live is the Director of Small Business Australia, Bill Lang. Bill, good morning. Thank you for joining us. What has been the impact of Omicron so far on small business?
Thanks, Danica. Well, I think there's sort of a general sort of feeling, it's quite an ominous feeling amongst many business owners, particularly those in sort of the hospitality and the events area, that this sort of Omicron and the so-called emergency national cabinet meetings and things is, increasing the level of uncertainty and the level of fear amongst, many citizens. For example, in Victoria, there were pronouncements around the need to, avoid having Christmas parties and Christmas gatherings, inside, try and do them outside. That has led to many hundreds of cancellations of, workplace Christmas parties, which has had a direct impact on all of those hospitality venues that have been counting on, that trade coming back, getting some more cash flow in the door. So that's just an early impact. Then we're seeing, scenes of people queuing up to get tests because we've got the chaos of the colonies, we describe it as, which is, different ways of getting over the border, different types of tests you need to do. So we're hearing from a number of businesses in southeast Queensland that, potential interstate visitors that were coming up were going to stay there and now deciding not to come. So the ongoing chaos, the ongoing confusion is reducing confidence, and that's having a direct impact on many businesses to be able to be open and operate with a level of confidence that they can generate some positive cash flow.
Well, you mentioned as well that National Cabinet is holding that emergency meeting today. What does small business need to hear from Australia's leaders?
Well, I think first of all, we'd like to see, this all this fear-mongering type language to be dropped. So I hope it's not the Prime Minister who's called it an emergency national cabinet meeting. Why don't they just have scheduled ones on an ongoing basis? He's asking everyone to be calm, yet then we go in here, see only yesterday, sort of the typical approach of someone leaking, in this case to the Fairfax media, who's gone out to create an enormous amount of scare, 200,000 positive cases, thousands of people potentially hospitalised. And then we find the Prime Minister and the federal Chief Health Officer having to be on the back foot and trying to calm people down. This is the sort of behaviour that we don't need from whoever's involved in leaking those sorts of reports, let alone the media that's putting it out there to put everyone on edge.
I want to ask you about rapid antigen testing. How big of an impact does this make for staff across business, and would you like it to be freely available to Australians?
Look, I think there's no doubt that if it was more freely available or at a much lower cost and much more convenient, people are going to be more likely to use it. So, we see that with any particular things across society with respect to if there's a level of government subsidisation and convenience. So there are a number of people going and queuing up to get the full-on test that's free. Then they're seeing the queues, and because of the requirements of having tests before you, say, travel to a place like Queensland, the queues are clogged up with people having to get tests so they can actually go on the holidays that they've booked. So then you've got other people there having to get tests as a result of receiving an SMS message that a week ago they were at a cafe where they bought a takeaway coffee where someone had tested positive. So again, it's sort of the theme, there is chaos, but the more convenient and the lower cost, certainly the more likely people are to be able to access that and use it, reduce the queues and therefore the capacity demands that are being placed on the official testing centres. But we have a number of businesses where they say, look, we're not going to open up until really after Boxing Day, maybe in the new year now, because we can't take the risk of, someone on our staff potentially, having to go and get a test and then having to isolate, then all of us having to isolate. And the next thing you know, we've geared up, we've bought food, and we can't really open with any sense of confidence.
Bill Lang, we have to leave it there. Thank you for joining me this morning.
Thank you, Danica, and Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.